Hey, good afternoon. This is Stephanie. I'm going to show you how to create a full view form for end users when where they enter it is in multiple parts. So let me kind of show you what I'm talking about. So under settings, public form links, I've got this application form broken into 6 parts, 1 through 6, so that it makes it easier for the end user, or the family in this case, to enter the information one at a time. If I look at it as how the family sees it, they can enter kind of basic information. Okay, and then when they get to the submit, it's going to take, the system is taking them to part 2. So they can enter now information about their family. Okay, at the end of part 6, what we'd like to have is for each part to be all shown on one final part. And then really we would like to add some options for them to get back and edit each part individually. So what I'm going to set up first is a couple of new forms. And I'm going to do this in the order that really makes most sense after I've done some fiddling. Okay. So under Form Customizer, I'm going to create a form that is going to be the container for the full form. It's going to be all of those 4 or 6 parts together. So I'm going to base it off the family and then off the case. And I'm going to call this application total form. Okay. I'm going to set this as a view form and I'm going to make it a public form. So we're really not going to touch this form again for a few minutes. It is, again, our container form that's going to hold all of those individual components. All right. So then if I jump back over here to public forms, I'm basically going to start to make copies of each of these. Okay. And so the reason I'm making a copy is because these forms are not set up as subforms, but I need subforms to go onto a full container form. Okay, so they're going to be a part of. So if I go, I'm going to open up part 1. Oh, excuse me. Don't want to see it like that. I'm going to view the edit form of it. And then I'm going to go to a list of forms. I'm going to right click. So I'm getting the form customizer view. I'm going to create a brand new form. Okay, so I'm going to base this off the family and the case. And I'm going to call this application sibling form total. And then I'm going to grab over here just the naming convention for this. And I probably won't come back to this too many times. I think I'll do it a different way. Oops, let's go like that. Okay, I'm going to set this as a view form and a public form. Okay. And from here, I'm going to leave this empty of fields and I'm going to go to advanced options and advanced form properties. I'm going to change 2 settings here. So I'm going to 1, set it as a subform. And 2, I'm going to set the sibling form, which is going to be that original part 1. Scrolling down to application, part 1. Okay. And I'm going to do this part redundant. I'm going to repeat this part for part 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to show you those now. Okay. So create a new form. Base it off the family, base it off the case. And then let's go over here. Where I want to go is the public forms because I'm having trouble remembering what everything's called. Okay. So And I'm going to drop that in here. Okay, set it as a view form and a public form. And then I'm going advanced options, advanced form properties, set it as a subform. And then I will set the sibling form. I'm going to do that one more time, and then I'm going to trust that this feels familiar for part 4, 5, and 6. So part 2. Okay. So instead of even going back to there, I'm going to go to settings, form customizer. Or like instead of accessing form customizer from the form customizer's page, I'm going to start from the beginning again. Okay, create new form. Setting up. It's a family. It's based off the case. And then I'm going to go settings, public form links, and just grab the end information here. Okay. Get that out of here. Okay, make it a view form, make it a public form. 2 settings under advanced options, advanced form properties. Set it as a subform. And then set the sibling form. Oops. 2, 3. Got it. Okay. Okay, so now that I've got all 6 parts, all 6 sibling forms for all 6 parts of the form, I'm going to add these subforms now to the total application form that we were building. So this is the form, that's the total form that doesn't have anything on it. At this point, we're going to find all of those subforms here. So application, sibling form. And so I've done this a couple times to get this right. So I'm using this one, okay? Where it says for total. Right, so I'm going to continue this down. Adding a subform. Okay. And I'm hitting part 2. Now, something that I wanted you to notice here. Sam is showing us all of the fields that are on the main part of that subform. Where it gets to be kind of funny, it's not really my favorite thing, but it does work, is that part 2 is only showing us those fields that are on the main part of the part 2 form. It does not show us any of the subforms. And so let me show you what this looks like. So this sibling form is linked to part 2. Okay, it's derived from this. But this part 2 this is on the main form. And then it's got prior marriages, children living in home. And all of these are under subforms that you can see here. Sam highlights that out for you. And over here on the total, it doesn't show it. However, it does show it on the actual view form. So I sort of have to trust it because I've tested a couple times and it does work. So let's add all of those parts here. Oops. And for part 3. Add a subform, go into part 4. And 2 more parts here. We go. Okay, and so I'll give you a view of this internally. You can see some of these forms are completely full of subforms, and they're not displaying any information, which definitely makes it confusing, but I want to assure you that they show up. Then we've got this information. On part 6, there is information about payments, and that payment information is also not showing up. So on the view, and that's okay. All right, so on this total application form, I want to show you how you view it from the family side. Under advanced options, you could open the public form. So you've really got 2 choices. You can open the public form, and this is going to take you to a login page, because any view forms that are public forms, you have to log in. And of course, I'm logged in already. And it, of course, is to the family that I want to show you. So it's this family here. I'm going to copy and then log in. So that is one way. I always recommend having test records so that you can see what's going on. And if I scroll down here, I'm not going to save that. I can see their information here. It's going kind of fast, but all of these subforms: prior marriages, children living in the home, children not living in the home, background check, where have they lived, all of these subforms are displaying, which is awesome because it was really quick and easy to do. Little confusing on the administrative side. I will not fudge that. Is definitely a little bit challenging, but there's a trust level that needs to be there, just knowing that that functions. And you can certainly do that for tests. Another thing you can do from the form customizer under advanced options and then really advanced options is open random record. And so this opens up to a specific family with a specific case. You can always go into a record if you want to look at theirs specifically and update that. So I'm looking up here, and there's family ID number 4. And where do I find their case ID? This is the one that I would use, is case ID 11, family ID 4, and you can pop that in here. So you can change these to view what you need. Okay. And that updates to the specific family. So again, they're able to see all this data here. Okay, so another setting that I want to show you on here is I'm going to create a sidebar link. So we need to go into advanced form properties. And then I'm going to press sidebar. And I'm going to this setting, and I'm going to set it as yes, that I want to see a sidebar. So it's going to allow us to see a sidebar manager, and then we'll link all of the subforms that they can normally edit to that. So right here, sidebar links manager. So now we're going to say, like, well, let's do part 1 basics, and maybe we can put a circle. Okay. Then we are going to come in here and use the public form, that basic info. So this is not going to be the sibling form of this that's set as a subform. This is the originating form that they're used to seeing, that they access regularly. I'm going to go over here and go to the top, and then I'll refresh this page. Okay, so we've got the whole form laid out here, but then now on the sidebar, we've got this part 1 basics, and it should take us right to just part 1, okay? Which really the family can now toggle through 1 through 6. Or we can add all of the rest, and what we'll do is add all of the rest of these, and they can get back and choose just the ones that they need to edit. Okay, so we're going to go and do, finish up the 6 parts. So from the main form, the total form, I'm adding part 2. I'm not actually sure what it's called, so I'm going to skip that for a minute. Home and family. Home and family. Set it as small. Press save. I'm going to do all the other parts just so we can see that all kind of put together. Part 3. And part 3 is background. And I'm just choosing the circles. You can choose other things that you like, other images. Health. I think this is adoption preferences. Excellent. And then it'll be references and conclusion. Okay. Okay. And of course, I'll show you the final product here when I refresh the screen. Cool. So a little bit big, a little bit messy. We might not need where it says part 1. These are all choices, that you can make as far as what you want it to look like. But I think this gives you the ability to go back. And again, if I start on part 4 and I press save on this part right now, it's going to take us to part 5. Press save is going to take us to part 6. So we have to sort of decide what feels like a good flow. But I think this gives the opportunity to view and then edit specific sections as well. Part 6, we may have take the user to this total form. Which we can do that setup. Let's see if I get in here. As an admin that's logged in, I should be able to access part 6. And then at the bottom down here, I can click edit form. And I can tell Sam to redirect the user to another SAM form, and I'm going to set it to the total form. One thing that sort of got me thinking right here is this part 6. We may actually have to have a copy of it if they're going to access it again through the view form, because we don't want them to have to pay for it again. Right, so we might want to have a part 6 that only has reference and the referral source type information by itself without the payment information. So that'll be a consideration, of course, when you complete your setup. And I think that's it for now. I think this supports being able for the family to get back to a different part and to make a total form that includes all of the parts that they have. The family can press Control P and then they can save it as a PDF, which is all through the browser. Of course, the number of pages it divides into is going to depend on how many pages your form is broken up into, what kind of information is being requested from that family member. Cool. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at support@inreachsolutions.com. Thank you.